Alright, so here you can see that even though this system has been put together, this yaw encoder gear has not been adjusted properly, and you can see that it barely makes contact. It should be a little bit closer to what we've got here. This one, of course, is the main drive, so you do want to have those gears as close to meshing. Loosely put that gear on there and then line it up. Before all this stuff was on here, you should have lined it up right here, and then you can gauge about how far out it has to go in order to, it's not going to go all the way down to the bottom, but you can get it pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and try to dismantle some of this and readjust that. To go back and change this encoder or pull this out, you can see that not only is there a mess of wires coming from tower slip ring, the clearance is rather tight here. So to actually remove this encoder now, we're going to actually have to undo that spacer or this terminal block, exposing the bolts for the spacer right here. We're going to remove that, and then we'll rotate this thing out just enough to be able to pull this thing out. Now you can see here that this DIN rail was actually long enough that I could remove the end bracket, like on this side, and I was able to just push everything over so we can actually see this screw. So I mean, this one turned out to be actually a lot easier than they normally would. I don't think normally those DIN rails you get are long enough for you to be able to slide it over that way. So you want to be careful about the tension. To make sure that I didn't yank these wires out, I cut the zip ties from the anchor here and unbundled this so that you can actually rotate this thing out. That thing's been unscrewed, so we can pop this out. Now keep in mind, it's also wired in back here, and I haven't removed the wires from this harness, so basically you can see here, this thing's right at the minimum limit. So it's hard, you can't really see it in there, but the shaft is longer. The shaft probably comes to about here, so you want to drop this thing down so that the set screw still hits the tightens onto the shaft. So I'm going to loosen that and show that next. Here we've loosened the set screw, and we're going to just go ahead and show you how far it'll go. So that's really about where that set screw should be. Now I've got this thing readjusted, and you can see the amount of space. This may be a 1/4 inch from the base of this encoder. Plenty enough to put that shaft, the set screw on, and it still reaches the shaft that probably ends back here where this line is. So this thing should be good to go. And then go ahead and basically reinstall this mess. Now I've got this tightened down, not so tight that it binds against the gear, and you can see here that the gear drops in and sets in really nice. Next you just got to make sure that you still got that spacer. Tighten that down, which I've already done. And you can actually literally slide that over. And then this end bracket here would go also on this side. A little bit of tie down these zip ties to the anchor, clean it up a little, and you should be good to go. But that's how it should look.